As Jackie said, I'm Ben from Leapfrogg. We're a digital marketing agency down in Brighton. I don't want to bang on too much about recession and I think we've all had enough of that, and now the sun's shining, everyone's feeling a bit happier and more motivated. But it's quite interesting that at a time of recession, there's in the last couple of years, which has been very useful, there's a lot of free tools that we can all be using online to market our businesses. And I've been reading Dee's book recently. Thanks for a little plug for you, there you are. And I've been reading about kind of the various different ways of marketing your business, either at very low cost or for nothing. And today I just wanted to touch on sort of 2 or 3 tools that we're using as a business and that you may already be using, or you may not. And I do know there's 1 or 2 kind of familiar faces that I know for a fact know an awful lot about this stuff, so I apologise to you. But hopefully there's a few people out there who can take something away from today. So I'm going to talk about social media, and we'll begin just by asking what is social media. It's one of those terms that even if you work in the industry, in digital marketing, it's a bit like Web 2.0. We all have a kind of slightly different meaning for it, and actually no one really knows what it means. It's just one of these nice fluffy terms that we like to use. But when we're talking about it with our clients, we kind of summarise it as a website with user participation at its heart. And really what we mean by this, even if you don't think you're a user of social media, you probably are. If you've booked a holiday and you've been on TripAdvisor, you're a user of social media. If you've watched an amusing video on YouTube, you're a user of social media. There's just a couple of examples where I'm sure everybody in this room, when you start thinking about it, you are in some way using it. And there's just a few kind of buzzwords around here. It's about conversation, it's about the user, it's about participation, I think is the key word there. It's about I suppose a change that we've seen in the last couple of years, where people are going online and they're able to participate, they're able to network, they're able to create content, they're able to submit that content online and really get involved in conversation between groups. And it can take many forms. Again, some buzzwords up there that I'm sure you would have heard of. Blogging, microblogging, Twitter, which we'll come to in a few moments' time. Networking, reviews. I think most of us these days, before we buy anything, or particularly I know before I go on holiday, I won't book a hotel until I've been on TripAdvisor and I've seen what other people have thought about that particular place. So reviews are very big. Video sharing has just grown massively, and I know Tim's got his little video. Where are you? There you are. Oh no, you're actually filming it. How embarrassing. You know, this is a demonstration of the fact that to video something these days can literally take £100 product, and you can use it to film events like this. Thanks, Tim. And you can submit these videos online literally by plugging that into your computer, and it can be on YouTube within 5 minutes. So video has grown hugely. Podcasting, again, reasonably easy to create podcasts, and again, it's another means of spreading your message to your target audience. And a number of other things. But I'm going to talk about, very briefly, because I really want to kind of open this out and kind of understand a bit more about your businesses and how we might be able to kind of apply some of the ideas to you guys. But I'm just going to talk about kind of 2 or 3. Before I do that, just to let you know, this stuff really is happening. I'm not kind of lying about social media. Just to give you a few kind of facts and figures, just to get you thinking. 78% of UK web users spend time on social networks in some way. I'm sure the majority of you have got a Facebook group, Facebook account, and so on. So Facebook in particular, along with MySpace and so on, huge social networks. 74% of people aged 35 or over have interacted with social media in some way. A lot of people kind of look at social networks, especially Facebook, and presume it's for the kids. MySpace may be a little bit more so, but actually there's a huge number of adults these days who are using these social networks. So generally speaking, whoever your target audience are, somewhere they're going to have a group, or they're going to be spending time online in some way, and it's your opportunity to engage and interact with them. 63% of people have visited photo sharing sites, Flickr being one of the most well known. 77% of UK consumers use blogs to influence a purchasing decision. So whereas, in years gone by, if I was going to go buy a video recorder, Video recorder, they don't even exist anymore, do they? DVD and God knows what else. I would probably ask a few friends about that, and I'd say, is this a good video? Have you got one? And I'd probably maybe speak to 2 or 3 people. These days you can go onto a review site and there are hundreds, if not thousands of people there who will influence your decision as to whether to go and buy that particular piece of technology. 78% of the UK internet audience have watched video online. Video through YouTube has just grown massively over the last couple of years, mainly through things like that. And people posting rather ridiculous and amusing videos online, but at the same time, video for most businesses is now a really good way to spread your message, to engage your audience, and tell them about what you do and how you do it at a relatively low cost as well. So that's great. Yeah, well done, Ben. Fantastic. But you might be thinking, okay, well, how can I harness some of these tools for my business? Where do I start? Because there is just so much out there. And more importantly, what are the benefits to my business? What I would say is don't just jump in. I think that's a real mistake that you can make, as tempting as that might be. Social media should form part, ideally, of a well-planned, well thought out, targeted and structured digital marketing strategy, rather than just going and posting here and doing that and kind of dipping your toes into different areas. It needs to be structured. You need to kind of know what you're doing. You need to understand the rules of engagement before you get involved. Most importantly, before jumping in, realise that it's not a direct selling tool. If you're going to start going to a blog and going there and saying, oh, my business is brilliant, we do this, we do that, you will turn people off. The rules of engagement online are very different to kind of traditional ways of selling. Remember that the community are more important than you are. Again, as soon as you start upsetting people within the community, they will effectively discard you and kind of, if you like, throw you out. What you should be looking to do is add value. Again, don't just steam in there. What can you offer in return? How can you help people? And you'll get the same back if you have that approach. And definitely don't fake it. Interestingly, I think it's in around April or May, having kind of people posting on your behalf and setting up fake Twitter accounts and kind of fake blogs and things like that are actually going to become illegal. God knows how they're going to police it. Apparently the government have about 20 people that are going to stop this stuff from happening. They thought that one well through. But essentially, this idea of I can go to TripAdvisor and I own a hotel and I'm going to write fake reviews about my own hotel, which does happen, that will essentially become illegal. But again, how they're going to police it, God knows. So what we usually say to our clients is let's start just by listening. Let's see what's going on out there. And you can use a few free tools to do this, because this is what it's all about, free stuff. Google Alerts, I don't know how many of you are using this, but it's a very basic, straightforward tool. You can go and sign up to it, and you can enter any keywords that you want to have, if you like, sort of emails sent to you by Google on a regular basis to outline where that particular keyword has been mentioned, or it might be an article or a press release. You can use it to track anything. You can use it to track yourself, if you're a little bit vain, like I am. You can use it to trace maybe your competitors and things like that. So go and use Google Alerts just to kind of have a basic understanding of what's happening out there and where things are being said. If you want to get slightly more sophisticated, but again these are still free, you can set up things like iGoogle pages or NetVibes. So essentially these are ways in which you can take lots of sources of information, and using a technology called RSS you can bring them all into one page. So it's a way of kind of aggregating content from lots of different sources. And again, you can set that up to track particular keywords and things like that. So before you get involved in any way, what this will do is help you to understand the conversations that are already happening, and therefore determine the most appropriate channels to target, before you just go hell for leather and presume that video content is going to be right for you, for example. It might not be. Your audience might not be quite receptive to